It's finally here. The final 53 for the Philadelphia Eagles, which is going to be an interesting one. And this really wasn't that hard to kind of put together. A couple things that might be a little different. You know, we will agree with things, we will disagree with things. But by Tuesday, they have to drop the roster from 80 to 53. And then, you know, you have an extra 6 spots to your practice squad. So you had 16 spots for your practice squad. So 69 altogether for your roster. So it's going to be very interesting what happens here, but let's go over the final 53. I'm actually excited to do this because I don't even think I did this last year, but get into it.
We better turn. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
All right, so interesting enough, you know, we go through these positions. We've been watching a lot of training camp. We've been watching these preseason games, what we've been hearing from these joint practices, and you try to put everything together in one spot for the 53-man roster. Now, we all know we have to put this into contention as well, that the last 3 roster spots are going to be up to Howie Roseman in the front office. So those are going to be the hands on them. So we'll leave that to the GMs later on. But I'm going to go over this whole entire thing. I'm going to actually involve some trades. I'm going to exclude the trades as is with this list, but I will talk about trades that could happen or practice squad or whatnot, what players are going wherever. So definitely listen up. Should be a lot of fun to do. So the 53-man roster right now, you go to your quarterback position. Obviously, you have Jalen Hurts as your starter. Minshew is your backup. That's just a no-brainer. You know, Minshew, I always thought that was always on the trade block, you know, even before training camp started, because even last year when there are quarterback-needy teams that really need quarterbacks, Minshew kind of, you know, wanted, you know, even after the season last year, I think Minshew, you know, even after that Jets win, he kind of he got the feeling of winning again. He's been a starter in the NFL in 2020 with the Jaguars, and you know, there was a offer on the table, a 2nd to 3rd round pick rumored by the Panthers. That's before they got Cam Newton last year, and the Eagles never pulled the trigger on it. So I don't think you can afford to lose Minshew right now. Let him play out the rest of his year. I think he gets paid a little over $900,000 for the year, so you have a cheap backup quarterback option. And then Sinnott Sinnott has played way too much. He's just played way too much. They have overplayed him. Sinnott is just not NFL ready. I don't even know if he's worthy of, even though I said that he should be on practice squad. I don't think he's worthy on being on practice squad. It's just, I don't see it happening. I don't see why he should be here. He is just not ready to take that step forward. You know, so I would probably waive him, to be honest with you. And I think what the Eagles will do is they'll find a quarterback on waivers and they'll pick another quarterback up. And then Carson Strong, have no idea. I'm not even putting Carson Strong's name down because I have no idea what they're doing. Okay. They didn't play him in the first game. They didn't play him in joint practices. They didn't even play him at the open practice in front of the public. The beat writers had nothing to say about him because they never saw him do anything. There was rumors about him being overwhelmed with the playbook, which I think they are dumbing this thing down. Okay, they are dumbing this thing down so much to the point where I feel like they're protecting him, and I feel like they're saving him for something, or they're not putting as much tape on him in front of everybody as possible. Maybe they've seen some things behind the scene from Carson Strong that they really liked and didn't want that news to get out to the public and for other teams to figure it out. So maybe they put him on waivers. He comes back, and who knows? You know what I mean? It could possibly happen. I don't know. Like, this is why it's a big question mark. It depends what happens with Carson Strong and where they think Sinnott's going to be. Because I'm telling you right now, if they think Sinnott's better than Carson Strong as of right now, I don't know what to tell you. And there's a big question mark for Carson Strong. Even the first game, didn't play. Second game, you know, he had less time than the game we just had against the Miami Dolphins. He had 1 pass, and then, you know, he had, a couple passes. Not much more. I mean, not much more. He actually had more time, and he actually did a lot less in this Miami Dolphins game. So I don't know what they're doing with Strong, but the next couple of days, we're going to see what happens with this. So it should be really interesting. Quarterback position, not worried about it. I think things will unfold the right way. I'm hoping they don't think Sinnott is like a great, you know, it makes me think like, you know, having Nate Sudfeld here, or when he first got here and he was actually playing really well when he was here. You know, it's tough finding backup quarterbacks. I'm looking at the quarterbacks that we were facing in preseason. Those Jets quarterbacks were really good. Like, they were all productive. It just seems like it seemed that Sinnott got so many reps too many reps at a time, and it was just getting really annoying. So I have Hurts, Minshew, and then Sinnott going to the practice squad, or Sinnott going, getting waived, and they sign somebody else through waivers if that's the case. So that's the plan for the quarterback position. Obviously, Carson Strong, big question mark, have no idea. So beats me what they're doing there, but that should be an exciting thing to look out for. Next position, I want to go after the running backs. This was self-explanatory. So if I'm talking about no trades, nothing's happening, you're going to have 4 running backs: Sanders, Gainwell, Scott, and Huntley. Okay, Sanders, tip on his shoulder, but is injured with a hamstring yet again, injured again. So the Eagles rumored to be talking to multiple teams for a power back, for a veteran running back, and whether either or, whatever the case may be. Okay, Kenyon Drake's out there available, Latavius Murray, Jordan Howard. They've talked to the Vikings about Alexander Madison. So they're Kareem Hunt trade. I mean, there's a lot going on with this team. So I think the Eagles are going to make a trade for a running back. But Huntley is Huntley worth way too much to just put on practice squad? Is he worth more than that? Because I think Huntley has had too much. Okay, too many reps. Kennedy Brooks, I was rooting for the kid a lot because I really wanted him to work out. Undrafted from Oklahoma. Played with Jalen Hurts in the past. Okay, so I want Kennedy Brooks to work out, but I don't think he's done enough. I just don't. As much as I don't blame him for it, I blame the coaches for not giving him more reps. I still think he needs more reps. They didn't give him enough. Huntley, especially the first game. I understand the first game, Gainwell was out, and then you had Boston Scott with the concussion, so he got a lot of reps, but still had too many reps and didn't give Brooks enough. So I don't know what's going on between Carson Strong and then Kennedy Brooks. Kennedy Brooks just not enough, and it just really aggravated me. So what are you doing here? I don't think Huntley's the 4th running back, even though I have him in the list. They're doing something with him. Do they try to make a trade? Do they just, I don't know what they're doing. Do they put him on the shelf and then try to trade him? I'm not really sure what they're doing with him, to be honest, because I mean, it's unfair for Huntley because you know what? I thought he played very well at running back. I thought as a special teamer, that kick return against the New York Jets, I thought he was really good. Took it from the end zone and got some yards. So he was productive, not just on special teams, but as a running back as well. So I mean, I thought he had a very solid preseason, very good, and obviously with a lot of reps, you get to see what they're all about. And I thought Jason Huntley played pretty damn good. I think he looks a lot better, looks a lot faster, more sharper this year. And even against Miami the other day, I thought he played really well. So interesting enough, he is our number 4 right now. And I feel like it's not going to happen, that the Eagles are going to make a trade. What are they doing with Jason Huntley? I have no idea. Practice squad, or they're going to flat out try to get something for him. I don't know if they're going to trade him or afford to waive him or whatnot, but we'll see what happens with Huntley on the way. Third position is wide receivers. Now this one, we've obviously a lot to think about with Jalen Reagor and what's going on with him. Okay, but there was news during this Miami Dolphins preseason game that Reagor was taken out of the game early, which when these players are taken out of games early, not even playing past the first half, okay, it means that they've made the team. Usually when you see players that are in there for a long time, especially usually players you see play in the 3rd or 4th quarter, those are the guys that you're not going to see around, okay? Reagor was taken out early, and yeah, it looks like he might make the team. It was a tweet from Jeff McLean, one of the Philly beat writers. So it could be a big possibility, guys. It really can be. Like, I don't know. You have, obviously, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Quez Watkins as your number 3, Pascal as your number 4. And as of right now, if Reagor is going to be on this roster, it's going to be Reagor and Kane. I think it will be Reagor and Kane because I think Covey and Allen will actually be on practice squad. Allen's not ready to be a wide receiver yet. I would give it another year because Allen looks really good as a gunner on special teams. And Covey, put him on practice squad and see what he could do because Covey really, I'm actually really shocked Covey didn't do anything because of his skill set and being like a special teamer for Utah and all the work that he did over there. And it just didn't transcend. It didn't really flash to me. Even Reagor didn't flash to me either because I think Deon Cain played better. Now, if Reagor is traded, okay, you could have Cain as your number 5 and either Allen or Covey as your number 6. I would say mostly Allen right now is your number 6 if that's the case. So, or if you don't want Allen and you want to keep him on practice squad, you could bring up Hightower or Ward or 2 other wide receivers right now. And I'd probably say Hightower because he's been the most healthy so far. Even Hightower probably had his best game against the Miami Dolphins. Last year he was hurt. He went to the last preseason game and didn't even make it really. So, the wide receiver room it's always been a healthy wide receiver room, and it's definitely something that's going to be showcased this year that we're very excited about, with A.J. Brown coming in with Devontae Smith, having Quez Watkins as your number 3 against number three on the third best cornerback of the team. So you're going to have a monster squad this year when it comes to wide receiver, but the Reagor thing is still up in the air. What are they doing with him? It looks like they're keeping him, but the other thing I've thought of is they could keep him and trade him. They could sign him they could keep on the roster that he made it, just so they can get their hands on another player in a trade, or they're just going to trade him away for a draft pick, a day 3 pick, or whatever they're going to trade him for. Because I think Hightower could make the roster if he's traded. Ward, I don't know if he's even going to make it, because I think Nick doesn't value Greg Ward a lot like Doug Peterson did. I think number 2 to that is he's just missed too much time. I mean, this toe has been just ridiculous. Out and out and out and out. And you know what? At the end of the day, like, the most experience is going to be Greg Ward. So it's hard for me to say, is it going to be Hightower, Greg Ward, if Reagor is traded, who's going to be your number 5? Because Kane could be your number 6, but you could have Ward or Hightower in that spot. I would like Greg Ward because I think he's going to bring a lot more to the table than Hightower is. I just think Ward is going to be more reliable the more reps that he does get. But these injuries are definitely killing. So, like I said, Reagor is traded. I could see Deon Cain and whether Hightower or Ward is on this roster, because I think they're keeping 6 receivers regardless. And if he stays, I think Deon Cain will be in that spot. Just not sure if Ward, or if they have too much in Ward or Hightower to say that they could be reliable as a number 6 right now. So not knowing what's happening with that is going to be interesting. So I have Brown, Smith, Watkins, Pascal, Reagor, and Kane for right now. Like I said, could change in the future. Next, you're going to have left tackle. Obviously, is going to be Mulata, Dillard, and Clark. So those are my 3 right there. That's self-explanatory. Dillard, Awosika. For your left guard, you have Kelsey and Juergens as your center. You have at right guard Samalo, Driscoll, Opita. Right tackle, I have Lane Johnson, but obviously I didn't put anything behind him. I think Driscoll could fill in for that role as well, because Driscoll could be your backup guard tackle. So I don't think there is another guy. I think Driscoll or whoever could really fill that spot. I think mostly Driscoll could be your backup as of right now. So it should be interesting what they're going to do, because like his rookie year, Driscoll played right tackle and actually played pretty well. I think that's when Lane was either hurt or suspended. I forgot when he was drafted, but I think it was that year when he was drafted. He took over for a couple games, or just the first game. So he has worked that right tackle, and mostly he was our starting right guard. But Driscoll has moved down the depth chart, so I think he will be the backup to Lane as well as right guard to Isaac Samalo, most likely. So that should be really interesting. Now, next list here, definitely the tight ends. Okay, with Calcaterra coming back for his first game, I thought he played pretty well. There was a couple passes from Sinnott that he totally missed. He overthrew him on one that he could have ran for a lot of yards for another first down. So Calcaterra was getting separation, was getting his catches, and he was playing pretty good. Is it enough, though? That's the question. What Calcaterra did, is it enough for us to say, oh, he made the roster, it's enough for me to say, sure. I think he's better than, Togai. I mean, I think he could be better. What I think right now is you have Dallas Goedert as your starter. You have Jack Stahl because his blocking is very good. It's hard to find really good blocking tight ends. And to, for him, I think he's a better blocker than he is a receiver. He looks kind of stiff, when he's a receiver. I don't know why, but I've wanted Stahl to get more into the passing game. So I just think they like Stahl because of his blocking. Togiai and Calcaterra are definitely 2 guys. And I think they're keeping 3 tight ends regardless of what they're doing. So I feel like Calcaterra could get into that 3rd spot, or Togiai will be in that 3rd spot. One of them will be on practice squad, most likely. I hope it's Calcaterra. I hope he does make it. Remember, you have Tyree Jackson on the shelf right now. Tyree Jackson's on the PUP list, and he will be on the IR. It will happen. They're going to save him. The guy's 6'7", the guy, second year playing tight end this year. So if they put him on IR, maybe he comes back later on, week 8 or 9, or maybe they'll try to put him into this offense or something. If that's the case, so it should be really, really interesting. Next position I want to go over is defensive tackle. You got Hargrave, you have Fletcher Cox, you have Milton Williams, very excited going into his second year, and you have Jordan Davis, monster Jordan Davis, and you have Marlon T. Rennell Wren will be on practice squad. I think the Eagles will keep 5 defensive tackles, with Marlon T actually bulking up a lot quicker this year. And that was our 6th-round pick from last year, guys. So a pick that I really wasn't a big fan of. But you drafted a couple, defensive tackles. And, Milton Williams seems like he's going in the right direction. So let's see what happens with Marlon T. So I think you keep 5 right there, which makes a lot of sense. Defensive ends, you're going to have Reddick, Graham, Sweat, Barnett, Teron Jackson. So I think those are going to be right now. Obviously, you're going to have Reddick moving from defensive end to linebacker. Kyron Johnson, I think he's been more of a linebacker within Eagles at camp, not really playing on the edge too much for the Eagles. They have him listed as a linebacker, so I'm going to go with how they have him listed. I've always thought, Teron Jackson has had a pretty okay camp. He's always been disruptive in the backfield, almost getting to the quarterback a few times. Like, he's always in the backfield doing something, which is good. So I'm trying to see, how much further he can go in his career. Another year for Teron Jackson would be great. Barnett obviously has to prove himself because he's got 2 more years left on this team. Well, a new deal with 2 more years this year and next year. They can cut that off by a year if they want, and they won't lose any dead cap. They won't get in the dead cap house if Barnett doesn't work out, which is a good thing. And Graham probably his last year in Philadelphia, depending on what they're doing to prepare to get another defensive lineman in here next draft. So I think this is fair to say what it's supposed to be as of right now. Linebackers, self-explanatory. I think it's Dean White, Edwards, Taylor, and Bradley. And I say Bradley, they're going to keep 5 because I think Bradley not only serviceable as a backup linebacker, but I think he's very serviceable on special teams, which I think a lot of the front office guys like him in special teams. I think that's where his bread and butter is. So I think even on Davion Taylor hasn't really impressed me at all this whole entire camp, even a lot of reps in that Miami Dolphins game. I think the Eagles are still keeping 5 linebackers regardless. You got to keep this whole group intact. Never know when you're going to need all these guys. So we will see when the time comes. But that is your linebacker position. I'm going to go to cornerback, obviously. So your cornerbacks are going to be Slade, Bradbury, Maddox, Jobe, McPherson, and Gowan. Okay, now obviously Slade, Bradbury, Max are your starters. Okay, Jobe, McPherson, and Gowan is probably one of the positions where I get worried about depth is cornerback, because God forbid a corner gets hurt. Do you have a backup nickel? I don't know. Okay, you got rid of Jimmy Moreland because he was hurt. There was a couple of Blackwell, left, came back, still didn't look good. Matt McCain is horrible. Kerry Vincent Jr., holy crap, he was horrible. There was a lot of Mario Goodrich. Where the hell he was playing corner? Now he's playing safety in the Miami Dolphins game. Like, they paid him a lot of money. Like, what is going on? Like, what happened to the depth at this cornerback spot? And I like Jobe because Jobe was quiet, and then he started to make noise by the end, which I really like because McPherson was the talk. Slay was talking about Zach McPherson, how he could be in his position one day and all that great stuff, which I can't believe because I can't imagine McPherson as a number 1 corner. It's definitely not going to happen. Now, do I think maybe you can find a number 2 in this group? And that going into next year, you got to make some decisions. Are you going to extend? Slay has 1 more year left after this year. Bradbury's a free agent. Are you going to extend him? Are you going to put more money into this, cornerback group next year? Are you going to draft early for a cornerback next year? I don't know what they're doing, but if somebody gets hurt, it's going to worry me when one of these guys steps on the field. Not saying that Jobe is bad. Not saying that McPherson is bad. They both had their ups and downs, but they stayed competitive. I think that's what's important. And it showed that they could stay with, the progression, and they could compete, and they're not going to put their heads down and give up. And, they made some plays, like you come back, make a few plays, you get beat, you're going to get beat. That's just how it goes. And I thought between McPherson and Jobe, I think Josh Jobe played really good. And I think the coaches like him a lot. And this is a guy that, was injured last December, didn't play in the SEC championship game. Okay, and got a shot, and you might have a good player here. This is not a lot is on his plate right now, but God forbid somebody gets hurt, you might have to throw one of these guys in the fire, which could definitely happen. So I would look out for that. So the backup cornerback spot makes me nervous if someone gets injured. Makes me a little nervous. Safety, one of my favorites, because I think it's one of the most weakest positions on this team. I love Marcus Epps, and I think he's a solid piece. And I think, as what I've known from him in the past, from watching him, I think he's more of a number 3 safety, rotational role playing safety. Okay, and I think he really made his mark last year. He really stepped up to the plate. So I'm excited to see what Epps does. Epps is a free agent after this year. Anthony Harris, I think they panically signed him after this year just because Rodney McLeod was still, they weren't gonna re-sign Rodney McLeod again because they, probably not on the good side of his career near the end, where he's getting a lot older now. So I think they bring in a veteran in Anthony Harris because he knows the players, knows the scheme, is connected with Jonathan Gannon because they both, they were both together when they were with Minnesota. So it makes a lot of sense, but I'm not a big fan of Anthony Harris at all. Tart has been inexcusable, not around. For me, I don't know. I feel like I would give him a chance. I would give Tart more of a chance than I would give Kavon Wallace. So this whole entire group is Epps, Harris, Tart, and Blankenship. Reed Blankenship has really surprised me. One of the most surprising players from this whole entire offseason so far. Between making plays as a safety and being on special teams, he's been a physical specimen. Like, when he makes a tackle, he always makes a big tackle all the time, and he's always there just to mess up the play. He's always there to make those tackles. So Blankenship has really showed up. He really has. I would pick him over Kavon Wallace. I would pick those 4 guys. Between Epps, Harris, you take those starters. Between Tart and Blankenship, I wouldn't put Kavon Wallace in there. I really wouldn't. I don't like Kavon Wallace. After that Miami game, too, horrible. His coverage was horrible. His angle on trying to tackle guys, he can't catch up to guys. I mean, he was horrible. Horrible. Because there was rumors that he bulked up. The coaches told him to bulk up a little bit because he was a little bit of a lightweight. They wanted to bulk him up a little bit more. But really from the last time I heard, he had a really good second-day scrimmage, joint practice against the Browns. And then his Browns, him against the Browns, and we had the preseason game. He didn't play that bad, but he looked god-awful today. He looked god-awful. I think I'm done with Kavon Wallace. But I think that Blankenship isn't going to – I think Blankenship will be on practice squad because Kavon Wallace is a 4th-round pick, they're just going to keep him just to try to justify him and give him another year. Because I think Kavon Wallace has 2 more years left on his deal, and that's it. Okay, but I have no faith in the guy. I really don't. I would give Reed a shot. If there was an undrafted free agent I want to give a shot right now, it's Reed Blankenship as a backup safety. I don't see why not. I like the kid. I don't think Kavon is going to give us anything. I don't even know if he's good on special teams at this point. At least right now, I know I'm getting something out of Blankenship on special teams, and gives just a ton of he's got such a great work ethic, and it's amazing. So Epps, Harris, Tart, Blankenship, and like I said, Tart's been just disappeared. He missed a lot of time in the beginning when he first arrived because he had some personal issues going on. We didn't know what was going on. And he was like on the 3rd team defense and still hasn't looked good. So it's hard for me to say. I would pick these 4. Kavon Wallace, I'm just tired of at this point, and I just want to move on because I think personally I just don't like him, and just don't think he's going to work out here. And then obviously your punter and your kicker. You have Sipos, up and down camp. He's kicked some good ones, kicked some bad ones, couple bad ones, and Elliott's been pretty damn good. Elliott's been good every time he kicked down the middle. Nothing crazy. Never missed one. Never almost missed one. I think Elliott's been perfect. We don't really talk about our kicker that much in Jake Elliott. 2020 was a really bad year. Last year he was amazing. And then this year he's probably going to have a fantastic year. So that's pretty much it. And then really going down to some of the extra stuff. Obviously, we talked about Tyree Jackson on the PUP list. Probably going to go to IR when the time comes. Brett Toth, guard tackle, probably is on PUP list now. Will go to the IR as well. So to put 2 of these guys on the shelf, probably put another one on the shelf as well, depending on who else they want to save, whether it's, I don't know what they're doing with Carson Strong and some of these other positions that they're doing. So that's pretty much it, guys. That was pretty much my whole entire list. we're going to agree on stuff. We're going to disagree on the final 53, but I'm just going by what I've seen, what I've liked so far, what I didn't like so far. Like, obviously the positions I kind of worry about with injury, God forbid something happens, is your backup corner and your depth at safety is very important right now. And even your punt return, kick return, I don't even know what we have at punt return, kick return right now. I have no idea. I wish I had the answer to that, but I don't. So that's why I didn't put it down. I didn't put kick return, punt return because I have no idea. I have no idea whatsoever. So nothing has popped out to me that said, oh, that's the guy. That's the guy that's got to do the kick return. No, I haven't felt like that this whole entire preseason. Thought Covey or Allen would have been that for us, but maybe down the road. We'll see. But I would put Allen on kick returns. I would try to do that. He looks good as a gunner. He can run downfield. So why not put the ball in his hands on kick return? Maybe take Covey off the kick returns, put Allen there, see what he could do. So it should be interesting, but I'm pretty happy about it. But let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with the list? Do you disagree? What trades you think that can happen to certain positions? Just give me a list in the comment section of each position if you want to take the time to do that, and I'll go over it and just see what it looks like, and maybe I'll agree with it. You know what I mean? Everyone's got a different opinion there. You might have something that looks better than mine. I mean, I'm just kind of pinpointing what I think in my own head that could happen, and it could. So other than that, it's pretty much it, guys. I will see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up? Follow slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.